Check it out. We're going to dig into these enclosures a little bit deeper. And I'm going to use a really simple chord progression to illustrate how to use these, okay? So we're just going to do a 1-4-1-5 progression, okay? If we're in C, that would be C, F, C, G. Pretty basic. So let's quickly recap what an enclosure is. Let me just play it. If C is my target, the most basic enclosure would be a half step above, half step below, target. It would be this little musical idea. That's an enclosure. We're going to expand that a little bit and add another note to that, like this. So we're just adding we're starting a whole step above, half step below, target. Okay? I want to show you another one, a variation of that looks like this. Half step above, whole step below, half step below, target. Okay? That's the enclosure. That little phrase. Those are enclosures. Really simple. It's when you start assembling a series of simple ideas that you start to get some pretty cool sounding things. But let's use those. Let's use those to construct some bass lines across that progression. And what I'm going to ask is that let's stick with just the triad tones of each of those chords. Okay? So just the roots, the thirds, and the fifths. Let's not get complex. And if we're targeting the thirds, we're going to use, let me rewind here for a second. If we're targeting the roots or the fives, let's use that first enclosure type, whole step above. If we're targeting the third, let's use this other enclosure, okay? It looks like this. It's the half step above, whole step below, half step below, target. So those are the only guidelines I'm going to suggest. You could use whichever ones you want, but for this, I want you to try these because they'll work. They're not going to create really abrasive sounding chromatics. Anyways, just bear with me. Let's use that formula to come up with a couple different bass lines across that chord progression. Okay? So let's just play a simple bass line where we're gonna go from the root here. So let's go 1, 1, 2, 3. That's interesting. Let's look at let's play that bass line again. So the first thing I did was target the root note, okay? The root note of the 4 chord, right? The F. So I went from okay? So we've just gone from the 1 to the 4. We've used that first enclosure type, the whole step above enclosure type to target the root, okay? Then we've used this other variant, the half step above, to target the third of the C. Okay? So we get this. I just chorded that so you can hear, like, yep, we're in that. We're back to the 1 chord again, the C. And then I did this. I didn't play the root. I just hit the 5. And then I returned to the 1. Which is really interesting. I get this descending kind of... in that example, I got a descending set of enclosures. If I elaborate that line a little bit, it'll help you hear what's going on there. You know what I mean? See what's going on there? So, I just, honestly, this descending idea just sort of fell out. It happened spontaneously. You know, this idea, we can use this idea to create like pretty innovative bass lines and bass lines that can be more improvised. You know, that where you have a structure of targets, you're thinking more in a structure of targets and ways of getting to those targets. And enclosures are a great tool for doing this. And those 2 enclosure shapes are great. You know, try writing some different bass lines using this simple idea. One thing I will remind people: you want to ensure your enclosures start and set up the targets in a rhythmically, like you want to respect like the rhythmic cadence. Okay, in the example I just played, I was playing a chord tone. The targets were always landing on the downbeat of each change, each bar. And in order to do that, you have to be thinking ahead. So, you know, it's like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? You're landing on the ones. You're not starting the enclosure on the downbeat. In these cases, these 3-note ones, I'm just playing an 8th note enclosure phrase. But you want to make sure that you're using the enclosure to approach, and you need to rhythmically approach it. You need to respect that the reason why these work is because, you know, they're creating a bit of harmonic tension, but they resolve, and rhythmically they resolve on the downbeats, and harmonically they resolve to chord tones. You'll have to forgive me. I'll always leave my notifications on when I'm doing my recordings. But there's 1,000 ways to play that bass line with these 2 simple like enclosure ideas. Play around with them. These are powerful ideas, and they're good for your ears too. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe, share it. You know what? Do me a solid. If you like this stuff, share it. I'm trying to get and grow my channel. It'd be nice to have YouTube compensate me a little bit, you know. So show some love. I do this all for free. So stay cool, everybody.